This is my Aunt Marky. She's a professor at the University of Florida. All I know about the Bradley side of my family is that they came here from Birmingham, England, probably through Ellis Island. I know that you can answer any questions I have for you about our ancestors.
Hi, Max. Hi, Max's class. Good to talk to you. I don't know if I can answer any question, but some. But first, I have to say I'm recovering from laryngitis, so if I clear my throat or sound strange, that's why. So the Bradley side. Okay. What I'm going to do actually is move you out. Say goodbye to everybody, Max, for a minute. Bye, everybody. This is our family tree on Ancestry.com. And here's Max. And this is his mom, Carol Bradley. We're going to go back today to James Bradley, who, yes, is from Birmingham, England. I'm going to switch views here so we can look at everybody. There's Max, his mom and dad, Eloy and Carol. And we're going to go up here to his great-great-grandfather. Here we go, Max. James, what do you need to know?
What year did they come here?
Well, he came here in 1890. He was born in 1862, so he was about 28 years old. But his wife came 6 months later with their 3 little children. He probably came to get a place and get a job before the family came over.
All right. And did they all survive the boat on the way here?
Well, yes, they did. If you want to look at the boat, this is the boat, which to me does not look like a boat I would want to take across the ocean, especially by myself with 3 little kids. But they were sort of courageous in those days, and they all did, in fact, survive the trip, which was probably not very easy.
Did they stay in New York when they got here, or did they all scatter?
Well, this family stayed together because, of course, they were parents and kids, but they did move around quite a bit. This is back to James. If we look at him, his wife was Mary Ann. Clarissa, Albert, and James, these are the 3 kids that were born in England. Their next son, your great-grandfather, was born in Buffalo, New York. Their next child, Mabel, was born in Pennsylvania. And finally, Anna was born in Illinois, in Chicago. So by 1900, the family was in Chicago, and then it stayed there for a while, until now.
All right. What did they do for a living?
Well, James was a brass bed maker in England. And let me show you where they lived in Birmingham. This is Birmingham, England. This street here, Wayman Street, is where they lived. And you can see there's a zillion floors and buildings. This was like kind of like a slum in the sense that there were lots of people. Sometimes they rented their beds at night to people who worked the day shift. So he was making brass beds in this kind of crowded town. And so he came to the United States to do brass beds as well. But unfortunately, brass beds went out of style once he got here. So he really didn't pursue that much longer after.
So they weren't very wealthy?
No, they were not wealthy at all. They were very poor, probably. And in Birmingham, England, here's the church they got married at, though. That was kind of nice in England. That's St. Saviour's Church. But yeah, it was a industrial town, so everybody had jobs in factories. They worked long hours. All the kids worked. When you look at the census from those days, people had jobs when they were 12, 13 years old.
Why did they come here?
Well, for a better life. I presume they knew somebody here. I haven't figured out exactly who, but they probably had family here, and they wanted to get out of this industrial town and probably have a better life for their kids, which they did. We're not working in the factory anymore.
All right. How many of them came here?
Well, this was a family of 5, and like I said, I'm not exactly sure how many of the siblings came over. I'm still trying to figure that all out.
All right. Did any of them go back home after they got here?
No, they all stayed. Those that lived, a couple of the kids died young in that family, and but all of those who didn't die stayed in Chicago and had their own families.
Did most of them come through Ellis Island in New York?
Yes, this family in particular did. I can show you the. Yeah, here's the passenger list from Ellis Island for this family. So here's the list of the people on the boat. It was called the Umbria. Here's Annie Bradley. She's the mother. She was 29. Clarissa was 4. Albert was 3. And James was 6 months old. And these are the other people on their boat. Lots of folks, 27 pages actually of boats. And like I said, that was the Umbria, which came over in June 27th, 1892. I thought it was 1891. I might have made a brief mistake there. So they all did come through Ellis Island.
Is there any information on what they were asked when they got to Ellis Island?
Well, that ship manifest that I just showed you only asked about their age and their country of origin and their occupation. That's all I have for them. I don't know what else they might have been asked.
All right. Do you have any documents about them?
Well, I just showed you the ship document. I have a lot of documents. Like this is Mary Ann Jones, the mother. I have her marriage certificate in England when she married James Bradley, Annie Jones. We know that his father was an axle-tree filer, which is actually part of a gun. There's a lot of gun making in Birmingham. And her father was a cab driver. So not a car, probably horse. But we have a lot of certificates, birth, death, marriage, and boats and things like that. So everything's pretty well documented. It's all on the web now.
All right, and did you show the class many pictures?
I can show you a few. I don't have any photographs of those people, but James Bradley's son was Albert Bradley, your great grandparents, not great, my grandparents, and there they are when they were dating. That's Grace Dillon and Bert Bradley. And then we have his son was my father, Albert Bradley. And here he is. That's a cute picture of my dad when he was younger. And then my dad had your mom, which is right here. There she is, Carol. Probably some people at school know her. And she married your dad, Eloy, and they had the famous Max. There you are.
Don't put it.
Okay, so that's the family tree from your great-great-grandfather James Bradley down to you, Max.
Do you have anything else that's interesting to tell about our ancestors?
One I could tell you is James Bradley's son, your great-grandfather's son, one of the guys on the boat. I think he was 3 on the boat. He wound up getting hit by an ice truck in Chicago, and he died at 15 years old. So I guess it was, and the ice truck was drawn by a horse. It wasn't by a car. So he must have been fooling around, Max, and maybe came to a early end. But there were a lot of early deaths through disease and accidents because medicine wasn't as good then. So there's a lot of interesting stories about the people, both living and dying, actually.
All right. That's pretty much it.
Hey, Max.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take it easy.
Bye.
Bye.
Were they wealthy in their country before they came here?
Max, they were brass bed makers. How wealthy do you think they were? What else can I do for you, son?
There's nothing really else. Oh wait, what part of Ireland did they come from?
They didn't come from Ireland, Max. They came from England.
Oh.
So he eventually had um, your grandfather, but I think that's a good story because they all got over and they lived long enough to have you, Max.